Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am GrandMcLegend and today we are going to be talking about, well, it's going to be a series. We are going to be discussing, ranking every tier 10 tank of each nation. And the way this will work is that over the next 8 days, which will take us to next week for the voting poll and whatever, and we will discuss each of the tanks of each nation. So like today we're going to do American, then German, then Soviet, and then British, and then Japanese, and so on and so on. And today we're going to be discussing the American tanks. Now, because if I do these stats and then do a live game as well, then that will make it a really long video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a live game and put screenshots of the stats of every tank, and then put like my equipment on and stuff like that on the screenshots. So yeah, I hope that will make it good for the video, but yeah, hopefully this goes well. So, of course, we are going to be talking about the T95E6, the T110E5, the Sheridan, the Patton, the Concept, the T57, the M-VI-Yoh, the XM, the E3, and the E4. Now, of course, there may be tanks that I do not have, like in the Russian tree, I do not have the 260 or the 907 and stuff like that. So we're going to just be doing tanks that I have, otherwise I'll be biased. So, yeah, let's get right into it. So first on the list we have the T95E6, and this is one of the best tanks of this meta, and it is probably one of the best, well, it is one of the best heavy tanks of this meta. And not just heavy tanks, but like the entirety of tier 10. And it's just a fantastic tank. Like, you've got insane DPM, you've got really nice mobility for a heavy tank. I mean, this is a heavier more like, so it does have more speed over the loss of some armor. But over the balance changes that happened in October, November time, this thing's armor got buffed on the cheeks and definitely on the hatch. And the hatch is super strong now. Like, if you go hold down, you will actually get bounces, which is really nice, especially for a tank like this. And overall, this is just a fantastic tank to play. Like, you have really nice DPM, you have really nice mobility, you have really nice armor as well. And overall, it is just a really nice tank to play, honestly. Like, the E6 was sold in the auction recently. I think it was about 5 days ago, if I remember correctly. And it sold out, I think, pretty quickly, to be fair. I can't remember exactly how long it took, but it wasn't slow. It actually sold out pretty quickly. So we are going to get shot by the IS-7 here, and it was worth it because now we can go against this slot. And of course we did get shot by the Destiny because we did go side on pretty much. So what we are going to try and do here then is try and see if we can bait anyone. And the TL7-120 and the Destiny and the Progetto are all looking over here. So I know that there is a 50B, an IS-7, and I believe there is something else there, but I don't know what it is. But yeah, something else is looking at me. I'm almost sure of it, so I want to try and be as careful as I can. So we do manage to clear the Progetto. We are doing a good job here by keeping these heavy tanks away, and that is then going to be good for the winning of our team. You can see that the IS-7 is getting killed right now, and that is good because that means that that is a really good tank out of the enemy team. So I am just going to be a bit dangerous here and shoot the 50B, because the TL7 and the Destiny are basically just staying put. So I can just turn around and take out these two vehicles. So I know the 50B... Oh, wow, he moved. Okay, so the TL7 and the Destiny still have not moved. So this is good, because it means that we will be able to do some nice damage against this IS-7 here, which is good because it means that it will be another tank out of the game. So we have managed to get him down to a one-shot. So I'm hoping, of course it would low roll because it is a heat shell, so it wouldn't do as much damage as I was hoping it to do. But the TL7 is dead, and the Destiny is also dead, and that just leaves pretty much the Badger and the... Oh, the Destiny is still alive. Okay. But you can see we did alright this game, and it just shows that the tank itself can actually be really nasty when you play it correctly. Like, I'm not sure how much damage we've done this game, but it is definitely an alright amount, and that is just how good this tank is. Like, you don't even have to try and get damage. Yeah, you will get hit with shells, obviously, because, well, it's not the best of armor profiles. And, okay, I think that hit the T57's rear, but we still did damage. We got the kills, and we did... I don't think we bounced anything, because we were in not the best of positions, but we did do 3.8k damage, and it just shows that the E6 is probably one of the best American tanks in tier 10 of this meta, and, well, that is basically it. So let's move on to the T110E5. So the E5, it is also a great tank, and this is probably one of the most recommended tanks for beginners, because the tank, it has decent armor, it has a fantastic gun, and it's just an all-round great tank. Like, this is what I would call a balanced vehicle, and it's just a fantastic tank. Like, if you need to grind an E5 because you'd enjoy it. Like, it has let's talk about the maneuverability. The maneuverability is okay, not the best on traverse, but the speed forwards and backwards is actually really nice. Okay, maybe backwards not so much so, but forwards it goes about 40 kilometers an hour, I believe, which is more than enough to get to positions. And of course the pen on the gun is really nice as well. I just got a really weird shot onto the T57 there, and I did bounce him, but it happens. I just didn't aim my shot well, so I am just going to track this this minnow here, and I'm hoping that okay, he goes back into cover, but I am still scared of that TVP because he can take 1.2k damage off me, and I do not want that because, well, you need to be you need to have enough hit points to try and take down other vehicles. So we do get a nice fire onto the minnow, and we don't kill him, unfortunately, but we do have the T57 here, who is just refusing to do anything, and he is trying to shoot me, obviously, because why wouldn't he? So we decide to get another 2 shells into him. He does bounce for 800 because he did shoot 2 shells within the span of 2.5 seconds, which is pretty standard. So we are just going to push this T57, stay out line of fire of the GrandMcLegend so we do not get penned. And you can just see that we are doing really well. We are at 2k damage right now, and this GrandMcLegend is just got no idea what to do right now. And can we pen his turret? Yes, we can. And that is just how nice this tank's pen really is. Now, that was a really lucky shot, actually. I didn't expect to pen that. But either way, he does get killed. So now what's left is the E100 and the Rheinmetall Panzerwagen. So yeah, this is pretty much a quick, clean sweep right now. And, of course, we do miss the shell because we were on the move, but he does also miss me, which is good. And we do manage to break his engine as well, so we do get some nice assistant damage alongside of that. So we are just going to try and shoot the Rheinmetall there, but we do hit the ground, and he does spot me. So, of course, this guy is just going to camp because, you know, it's a Rheinmetall Panzerwagen, and we do get 388 damage into him. So, another great portrayal of another American tank, and both of these tanks are really nice. Of course, the E6 is much better than the E5 in almost every single way because it is a good tank. Don't get me wrong, they're both really good tanks, but the E6, it's just amazing. Like, the E6 is probably one of the best tanks, and the E5 probably just falls just below it. So, yeah, I do recommend getting an E5. It is definitely a good tank to have in your garage. Moving on to the Sheridan. So the Sheridan, it's a great tank. Well, great tank. I say great tank. It's a derp gun. And it is a light tank. So what do you get if you have a light tank with a derp gun? Well, not very accurate shots. And, well, yeah, it is a good tank, don't get me wrong. Like, if you play it correctly, it can be really good at taking down the enemy, and it's mobile. It's got a really nice gun, but its pen actually does suffer, and the HE is not all that different to the AP or APCR, and well, that doesn't mean it's a bad tank. Like, it is a good tank in the right hands. So we do get 574 damage into the Type 71 there, and you can see the pen. The spaced armor on the Type was flickering red, which is already showing the bad pen of this tank. And well, yeah, I mean, the pen is needed, of course, because when you get up against a mouse, you have to like almost always turn on the AP's the heat. But either way, you're still going to get damage either way, and it's really nice damage at the end of the day. Like 400 to 500 damage per shot is really nice, especially in terms of a light tank that can go 65 kilometers an hour around a map. So there is 6 tanks remaining on the enemy team. I think the Jaeger is alone because there's only heavy tanks and tank destroyers on the enemy team. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try and circle or get behind this Jaeger and get some shots into him. So we do get 609 damage into this Jaeger, and that is already 2.3k damage. So we're just going to sit here again, get another shot in 1, 0, boom. And of course the grill does go and kill the E75, but it's a one-shot Jaeger versus a grill 15, and this can only end one of two ways. The grill and the Jaeger both die, or the Jaeger dies and the grill absolutely obliterates me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around and I'm going to go up this hill here, because I'd be able to outspot the Jaeger and I would be able to outspot the grill, and there is the grill. So I'm just going to not use the HE because there is a small chance that the grill could be using what should we call it, spool liner. So I want, because the HE on the HE damage isn't the most different to the APCR, then I don't really want to risk doing 300 damage to the grill. So that explains that one. So I believe the Jaeger is right here, get a nice kill, and now it is now a, what is it? It is a 3 versus 4. And so we do have the grill. He is on 600 hit points, and we are just going to see if this guy will try and poke. So I am trying to get just over the ridge enough to try and hit this grill, but he will be able to shoot me. So I'm going to get the hell out of here and use my spotting range or view range to my advantage against these tanks. So I do decide to go for the HE there, because I knew that I wouldn't be able to pen that Type 71 very easily at all. So if I can just try and eliminate this grill, it would be speed over view range. And Well, I have a lot of speed, as you know, because I'm a light tank, and I'm just going to see if I can spot these heavies from a distance. So we do spot the Type 71, and he is already coming over here trying to find me. So I really want to take out this grill at this point, because he is a dangerous tank, obviously, because it's a grill 15. Of course it will be dangerous. So I do get spotted, unfortunately. And there are 2 heavy tanks and a grill still waiting to be found. So I want to try and get lucky and set fire to this grill so I can then take him down. And because the Type 71 and probably the rest of the team knows that I'm going this way, I will probably get shot and killed. So I'm not overly certain how this is going to work out. But we do spot the grill, and we are just going to get a shot into him for 594 damage. So he was using Spall Liner, and that was a high roll. So I am not sure what to do right now. And we do have the Type 71 here. So we are just going to get another nice shot. 5,700 damage now. And at this point, I really want to kill this grill, because it'd be speed over heavies, the heavy speed. So I'm just going to YOLO this grill and kill him. And then what I'm going to do is get killed, I think. Yeah, I'm going to get killed. But yeah, we did try that. We did do 5,700 damage that game. And we did try, obviously. And we just got unlucky, I guess. But we did still do well. And it just shows that the Sheridan can work, and that is, I think, the highest damage I've ever done in that tank. So, yeah, it's a good portrayal of the vehicle, of course, but it is not often you'll get damage games like that. And, well, overall, it is a good tank. So, it is also covered in spaced armor as well, so you will get a lot of troll bounces on this vehicle, but you can't guarantee it because people will be, well, trying not to be stupid most of the time. But yeah, moving on to the next vehicle, the Patton. So the Patton, this is one of the most amazing medium tanks of this meta as well. It's a bit funny, all these American tanks are actually really good this update, or this season, but yeah, it is nonetheless just a fantastic tank. And I've accidentally shot my gun there, but yeah, this is another one-of-a-kind vehicle, and it is very, very nice, especially when used correctly, which is hull down. Now, this tank's armor profile, it has no hull armor whatsoever, but it has probably one of the most strongest turrets in the game. And use that turret to your advantage. Go hull down and only show enemies your turret. Yeah, your hatch is pennable, but when you're hull down, I mean, you can't see the bloody thing. So yeah, try and go hull down when you can, and try and make it so that people can't see that hatch of yours and that hull. So we are going hull down against this lot here, and they are actually struggling to pen me. And well, obviously, because I'm hull down, and we do have another Patton here trying to go over here as well, and we have enough support. We have 2 752s over here, so what I'm going to try and do is try and sort out this Patton, and that can be done by trying to attempt to shoot the hatch. And we do go up for another shot, and we do miss that one as well, unfortunately. So I want to try and stay here to keep attention of this Patton, but I am probably going to be killed nonetheless if I try and stay there. Otherwise, I will do absolutely nothing. So we do have the Patton pushing. So I am just going to track him so that the 752 can please try and shoot this Patton on the enemy team, but he just like refused to do so. So I'm just going to go back because I unfortunately don't have enough gun depression. But what I'm going to try and do is take out this 704, so then it is then a, what should we call it, a 7 versus 6. So I am just going to be a bit risky here. And we do get bounced by the 704 actually. We don't get hit, we get bounced. and we are just going to get another shot into this Patton. So we did manage to get him down to half hit points, which is good. But I am going to try and sort out this base. So I'm just going to jump off and I'm going to run away practically so I can try and sort out this base. But it looks like whatever it was the 50 TP. So that is good that he didn't stay there, because that was putting a pressure on me. And I can't really stay here altogether. So what I'm going to try and do is get into the meme position. So I am just going to get a shot into the Patton, and we do have the 704 here as well. So I'm hoping that the 704 does decide to shoot the 704. So we do manage to get a shot into the 704 in return. And what we are going to do now is go into the meme position. And this is a fantastic position for a tank like this. And there is a T92E1 on the other team. Okay, fair enough. It is a 152mm gun, but it does work. So, of course, the 752 is actually going to be wise and stay here as well, because he also has a nice turret. So I'm just going to kill this 704, and that brings it down to a 2 versus 4. So we do still have a GFT, an E5, a, what is that, 50 TP prototype, and a T92E1 left on the enemy team. So we do manage to spot the prototype. We do also have the E5 here. The 752 does get penned, but we are just going to turn around and we are just going to see if we can get as many shots into this E5 as possible. So we do manage to get a low roll, unfortunately, into the GFT. But we are just going to get a HE shell into that E5 there. So we do get shot by the T92. And he is actually using the single shotgun, which is not ideal because he will be able to kill me. And this is not good because we also have a 50 TP also following me, and we do die, unfortunately. Now, that was not the best portrayal. We did lose a lot of damage or available shells against the Patton at the start. And yeah, I probably could have made that up. It's just unfortunate that the T92 was smart and he actually went on to the other side of the mound there. But we did get 3k block damage, and that was because of that strong turret we've got. This tank's turret is probably one of the best things going for it, and it is just otherwise a great tank, honestly. Like, you need to get a Patton. It is a great tank. Moving on to the Concept 1B. So the Concept. This is also a really nice tank. All the American tanks in tier 10 are somewhat decent, and again, this is sort of like basically a heavy Patton with an even stronger turret. And its gun is actually really nice. It's pretty accurate, I think, from the top of my head. And the turret armor is where this tank really shines. This is definitely a hull down tank. And of course your hull has no armor whatsoever. But the turret is absolutely impervious to pretty much everything you come up against, because the mantlet covers pretty much the turret, basically. And yeah, of course, people will be able to pen the hatch, because it's not, the hatch is pennable. To higher calibers mainly, you won't get penned by a, like an STB, for example, if you're in a Concept in the hatch. But yeah, it's still good nonetheless. So we do get a really funny shot into the STB by getting a hatch snipe on a pixel of his tank. But yeah, we do manage to get that shot off. And I am just going to try and shoot the 183, but we do bounce the shell. So I'm just going to load the HE, quickly shoot that Progetto, and now he is gone. So we do have the STB over here, and we also have the Grill, I think, and the Death Star. So I do want to be careful because they are two very dangerous guns. So I'm just going to push my way forward, and we do have the 183 here. So I'm just going to aim at his turret, and we do manage to get a nice shot into him. So we do have the STB here, of course, and I am just going to go around and kill him. So that is 2 kills for us, along with 1,600 damage. So we do have the 183 here trying to shoot us, but he won't because he has only 5 degrees of gun depression. So we do have the Jaeger here also. We do get a really nice shot into him on our way over here. And now we are against a 183 who can't even pen us. So this is going to be fun. And it just shows, well, is he going to try and shoot my turret? Okay, fair enough. Classic 183 player. But yeah, he did miss his shell. And we do manage to get the kill as well. So I'm just going to just keep going forward. This was pretty much a clean sweep of a game. So it's pretty good that we got a game like this just to show you how well this tank can perform. And we are just going to get round to your side. Okay, fair enough, Project Murat. But yeah, we are just going to... Wow. Wow, okay. But yeah, moving on. We are just going to chase down this T57 and get some nice shots. And we do set fire and get the kill. So that was a lucky shot, actually. 4 kills and I think 3.8k damage, which is really nice. And of course, well, the tank is only good in a hull down position because it's got no hull armor, it has an insane turret, and it has, of course, a good gun. So just stick yourself on a ridge and you will work wonders in this tank. Honestly, trust me. Go on a ridge in this tank, use full gun depression, and you will just do really good games, honestly. But yeah, Concept 1B, if you have a chance, do go and get one. Same with pretty much every tank in this list. But yeah, moving on to the T57 Heavy. The T57 Heavy. This is one of the 2 autoloaders in the American tree in tier 10, and the other one is of course the M-VI-Yoh. But this tank is really nice. Like, this is what people often compare T57 to the AMX-50B, which is also a nice tank. But this one, I actually prefer this to the 50B. Now, I know people will say contradict that because the 50B has reactive, it's got more speed and stuff like that. But this has an intricate reload boost, only 3 shells, and I know it does like less damage than the 50B would do in an entire clip, but it's everything else that counts as well. This has armor. Excuse me. But yeah, this tank has armor. It's got damage, and that is pretty much all that matters in this tank. So we just absolutely rampaged that 183 there, doing 1,200 damage into him, and he is now only on 327 hit points. So I am counting on this E5 to shoot this 183 and kill him, so I can then get across and then get some shots into this Jaeger here. So I'm just going to sit here, literally, and just get some shots. It's as simple as that. Just reload your clip, do the damage, and then get back into cover so you don't get shot. And that is exactly what we've done. And we haven't lost any hit points. We've done 2.8k damage, no, 2.4k damage, as easy as that. And that is just how simple it is to play this tank. And we do get an ammo rack on that guy, which is funny. And we are just going to get a miss onto the Progetto, but we are just going to go for the ram and do 136 damage. And it's just such a nice tank. Like, you must enjoy the T57. It's a fantastic tank to play. Its playstyle is, yeah, you'll have to get adjusted to it, but it's still a nice playstyle nonetheless. It's an autoloader, a 3-shell autoloader, and it's also got a decent, it's not decent, but it's got some armour, and you will get a lot of troll bounces, trust me, especially on the turret. And its gun is amazing as well. It does have quite a lot of heat pen as well, not as much as like the E5, I don't think. I think it's like 360 to 370, but it is still great pen nonetheless. And I think it's just get a T57 Heavy. It's a really nice addition to your garage, trust me. So we are just going to miss a shell, but we are just going to miss another shell, and we are going to get the kill finally. But yeah, we do get 2 kills, and we do get, I'm not sure how much damage, but you could see how easily we got that damage out. And that just shows that this tank can do really well when you play it correctly. 3.2k damage and 2 kills. And it's just a great tank. Like, I mean, I know I said that for every tank in this video, but it is. They all are. All the American tanks are either good or OP, kind of. Like the Patton or the E6. They are broken tanks. But things like the T57, the Sheridan, the E5, they are all balanced. But the T57, this is a balanced vehicle. It's a 3-shell autoloader. And yeah, of course, autoloaders do have the advantage most of the time, but it is still a good tank nonetheless. But either way, moving forward, we are going to talk about the Yoh with the 2-shot gun. So, the Yoh. I do prefer to use the 2-shot gun on this tank, primarily because of the intra-clip and the damage it does. Now, the 3-shot, yes, you have you'd have 2 types of gun to run on this. You can run a 3-shot gun or the 2-shot gun. I prefer the 2-shot, but some people will prefer the 3-shot. But yeah, this is just my opinion at the end of the day, and I just prefer this gun overall. So, yeah, the Yoh is a really nice tank when you play it correctly, and that is pretty much hull down. And it's just a really nice tank to play. Now, I'm going to try and go hull down on this side, actually, because over on the heavy side, there isn't many places I can go hull down to use my armour effectively. So I'm going to make my way over here, over to the medium side, and then try and get some shots into them by going hull down and using my 2-shot clip. So I'm just going to make my way over here and then see if we can shoot any mediums on this side. So the 907 hasn't spotted any heavy tanks over here, which is actually pretty good for us, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to equip the intra-clip, and then we're just going to dump our shells into you for 695 damage, and he does get cleared. That would have probably been 800 to 900 damage, because it's a 450 alpha gun, so yeah, it's a good gun indeed. So it's a good tank, don't get me wrong. It's a fantastic tank, and overall I just totally recommend that you go and get one, because it's a great tank, except when you get shots like that and then you bounce. But yeah, we are just going to get another 449 roll into that piranha there, leaving the 907 to clear him. And well, there are still 5 tanks left, so we can still get some nice damage out here, and we have only got 1 clip out so far. So I do really want to try and get some more damage out here as I can. So the 907 does clear the piranha, and we do still have a 60 TP, a Death Star, and a IS-7 left. So we are just going to get a nice couple of shells into that 60 TP, and he is now only on 700 hit points. So we've done 2,097 damage now, and you haven't even worked for that, to be fair. Now, what I'm going to do is just try and get around this bat chap because he's kind of in the way, and now the rock is in the way. So yeah, amazing stuff. But we do also have the 121B behind us, which, okay, fair enough. So I am going to get a couple of shots. Wow. Okay, so we do get actually a really annoying shot there against the I-183, but we do still have the IS-7 and the T121B left. So I am just going to turn around and choose to go for the 1-2. Actually, no, I'm going to go for the IS-7. Because why not go for the IS-7? It's an IS-7. So hopefully I can get there before this bloody 907 can and this bat chap, because I want to get more damage. And the only way to do that is getting behind this IS-7. So I'm just going to get one more shot and another shot, and that kills him. So 3.4k damage, 1 kill, which was the IS-7, and we didn't even try that, did we? It's just a great damage dealing tank. It's great for supporting your allies, and it is a really good tank. Honestly, it's not to go frontline. You can only really go hull down in this tank because the hull armor is absolutely non-existent, so you won't really get that much damage, that many bounces onto the hull. So you really want to try and use that turret armor as effectively as you can. But yeah, Yoh, I definitely recommend getting it. So yeah, moving on to the XM. So the XM. This is probably one of the best tank destroyers in tier 10 as of this current time, and it is, and for good reason. It's got armor, it's got speed, it's got DPM, and it's got accuracy, it's got everything. This tank has got everything going for it. It even has really nice armor on the sides as well, on the turret. And it is just a fantastic tank. Like, yeah, of course, people have learnt how to deal with this since it was released in the Snow Globes in 2024, I think it was. Yeah, Snow Globes of 2024, and it is still a great tank nonetheless. And well, you could do so much in this tank, and it's easy to do so much in this tank. So we are just going to get a troll shot onto that 114 there, which was a really weird bounce actually. But we are just going to get another shot into him no matter what. So I am just going to get another shot, and now he is gone. So you can see that the reload is really nice on this tank, and you can get the damage out really, really quickly as well. And it's a 410 alpha gun. It has really nice reload as well. And overall, it is just really strong. It is a really strong tank, and you will often do over 3 or 4k in this tank. So what we are going to do against this MLE here is just whip on the heat, and look at that. It is easily pennable, this tank is. Not easily pennable. The MLE was just paper with that heat pen, which is about 384 by the way, which is really, really nice. So we are just going to get a shot into the E75, get a nice fire and kill him, which puts us up to 3 kills, and I'm not sure how much damage. So we are just going to go to the Kranwagen here and hopefully try and get the last shot, but we didn't, unfortunately. But we still do get 3 kills, and I believe that was 3.5k damage, which was really easy to do. I mean, come on, it was such an easy game. That was 3.8k damage. So yeah, the tank itself is just amazing. I heard that it's coming in the auction near the end, so do try and save up your gold to try and get this tank, because it's still amazing. It is a fantastic tank. It's one of the most amazing tanks ever to come into the game at all, and it's just so nice to play. But yeah, get an XM at the auction if you have enough gold, and you'll be good to go, honestly. But yeah, moving on to the T110E3. So the T110E3, one of the most heavily armoured tank destroyers in the game, sitting at like something like 300 and something, I think it's like 320mm of frontal armour on this tank, and easily the only pennable place on this tank is the lower plate, and that is also pretty hard to pen if you have an inaccurate gun. But if you have an accurate gun like, I don't know, a 215B, I don't know, something like a medium tank like a Leopard or a Patton, you will pen the lower plate pretty easily. But this tank, its one downfall is the speed. Now, this tank is not necessarily the fastest vehicle in the world. It can be really slow, and well, it is really slow, and that really drags it down. But other than that, everything else about this tank is absolutely amazing, honestly. The E3, probably one of my favourite tank destroyers in the game, and that goes without saying, because its gun is just amazing, its armour is amazing, the speed, yeah, it's not the best, but it is still something to work with at least. So I am just going to aim my Pramo at this E100 and do 563 damage into him, and that also brings him down to half hit points. So I do see a FE4005 right now, and he is looking really juicy, and I really want to get some shots into him. So I'm going to move on, and I'm going to try and get out a line of sight of this E100 here, and then try and get some shots here instead. So we do have to waffle, and he did see me aiming at him, unfortunately. So I am going to unfortunately miss the shell against the T-30's hatch, but we do still have quite a lot of hit points, and the gun reload isn't really that long for what this tank is. So yeah, that is a benefit of this tank. So I am going to try and bait the mechanics of the gun handling on this vehicle, and unfortunately it did not go to plan. So yeah, we did lose that that shell against the T-30, but we are just going to push forward, get a nice shell into that waffle there for 720 damage, and we are just going to make our way forward and take out this E100. And he is pretty much helpless right now because, well, we are in an E3, and really I should have used Pramo there. But yeah, unfortunately we won't get as much damage as I would have hoped, but it's still damage nonetheless. And we are just going to put on the Pramo and then get a nice shot into him. Wow, that was actually a max roll almost on that vehicle there. But we do manage to get 686 damage into that E100, and that was actually a really high roll for the APCR on this vehicle. But yeah, nonetheless, we did get 3,500 block damage from all kinds of vehicles, and that just shows how strong this tank can be. And yeah, meanwhile we only did 2.5k damage, but we still did damage. But it was the block damage that counts. That is what really shines on this tank. Armor profile, the hatch is almost impervious unless you put on Pramo, and the lower plate is pretty much the only other place you can pen this vehicle with regular rounds. And it's just fantastic, honestly. It's a great tank to have, and I totally recommend getting one. Moving on to the final tank of this video, the T110E4. So the E4, it is honestly a fantastic tank. All these tanks in this list, or in the American nation at tier 10, is absolutely amazing. And of course I do not have the M60. That is because I sold it when the Patton was basically better. I mean, it still is it's still better now. The Patton is still better than the M60, but I never got on with the M60. It doesn't really compare to the Patton in a good way. I mean, the Patton is basically just a better M60 in a way, but the E4, yeah, they call it the turreted E3, and that is basically exactly what it is. The E4 is basically a turreted E3, and it is a really nice turreted E3. It's really strong, it's really good at doing damage, it has a fantastic gun, and overall it is just a brilliant tank to have. And the good thing is, this tank is completely free, so you could just go and get yourself one of these at any time of the day, and you could just be on your way. And it is just amazing. Like, of course, that roll there is not something you'll do often in this tank, because the average damage of this tank is 630, so you won't really get that much extra damage than 650 usually, due to average rolls and stuff like that, if you know what I mean. But yeah, the E4 is a great tank, honestly. It's definitely worth the grind, and the tank before it, the T30, is also a fantastic tank. Like, people say that is like the best tank destroyer in like tier 9, because it is. It plays well, it is just amazing. Like, the T30 is one of the best tank destroyers I have ever played, and it is a very fun tank destroyer to play overall. And I mean, I can't not say that it is a good tank to play, do you know what I mean? But yeah, we do manage to get a nice HE shell into both the 30B earlier and just now with the Vickers, and we are just going to absolutely bully this Chieftain, and he is, well, gonna get ammo racked. So we do have a 4005 here. I'm hoping I can turn around in time to be able to actually shoot this guy with some HE, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But we can nonetheless. 1033 damage into that 4005. That is what this tank is amazing for. It's got HE pen, it's got the armor, it's got the gun, it's got, okay, not the best maneuverability, but everything else going for it, it is just amazing, honestly. If you haven't picked yourself up an E4, do go and get one, honestly. It's a fantastic tank. And, well, all these tanks are really nice. I mean, the Sheridan replay wasn't really the regular thing you would do. That is just really lucky, to be fair, that I even got that much damage on recording in the Sheridan. But it is not common that you do that unless you know the playstyle very, very well. But nonetheless, all these tanks here, all of these vehicles are definitely worth trying to get. I didn't talk about the missile, obviously, because that's only a fun game mode tank. But the rest of the list, it's just, they're all amazing. I definitely advise going and farming the American line. I mean, yeah, some tanks aren't the best. Like, I don't know, the T59 I don't think is like the best tank in the world. And, well, some of them are alright, but some of them just lack, kind of. But either way, it's still a free tank at the end of the day, or free tanks, I should say. And the tier 10s are definitely worth it. And, well, that is basically it on today's really, really, really long video. And, well, I'll see you all tomorrow with the German tech tree, and we will all talk about the tier 10s in the German tech tree. And that is basically it from me. So if you want to join my Discord server, the link is in the description below. Do like and subscribe to the channel as well, as it really helps me out. And do submit some requests for the next... Actually, no, we're not going to be doing any requests this week, because there will be 7 more videos after this, and that will take us to Saturday, so that we can start with this new method of submitting your requests, and hopefully that goes well. But yeah, that is basically it from me, so thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.